Hi there, welcome to Between Two Rods. This is a fishing podcast, and this is a podcast where we tell all kinds of crazy stories about fishing, life, and whatnot, all of it, right? And I have an outstanding guest today. I'm super pumped to talk to my friend who I've known for a long, long time now, and I cannot wait to talk to you about fishing and how it affects the area. I have none other than Dan Rowe. Dan is the president and CEO of the Panama City Beach Convention and Visitors Bureau and the exec director of the Bay County TDC. Dan, thank you so much for being here today,
Oh,
man. I'm pumped to talk to you.
it's a pleasure. I mean, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, let me start off by kind of asking you, Panama City Beach is known for its incredible beaches, which is world renowned, and it's also known for fishing as a major draw. How does the role of fishing play into the marketing efforts of the things that you guys do?
Well, I mean, fishing is a big part of what we do. I mean, because it's people love to come here. We have an initiative going on. It's Color Your Summer Snapper Red, which really reinforces the snapper fishery here. A couple of
Hmm.
years ago, Yanni Petronis, who is on our board, said, we really need to own snapper fishing. So we leaned into it and created this whole integrated campaign just to highlight it. And it's one
Hmm.
of the digital campaigns that has our highest metrics because people just love it.
Yeah.
And the creative is great, and it really reinforces the brand of Real Fun Beach.
Hmm.
But we also are, we have Chasing the Sun, which is a television program on
Hmm.
Discovery and Waypoint TV that we've been doing for 10 seasons now,
Yeah, it's a great
which
program.
which really just highlights the coastal lifestyle and has a lot of good fishing in between. So I mean, we're just so thrilled with that product and what we've been able to do and to tell our story in a unique and way that will cut through a lot of the other noise that's out there from other beach communities.
Hmm. And as part of that, do you guys have a way of quantifying the recreational anglers as well as the folks who are coming down to doing offshore charters and the impact that that has in the community?
We don't track it to that level,
Mm.
because what we do, we don't get all the information back from the charter boat captains and different things. So we track the metrics of our digital campaigns and how that converts
Hmm.
into dollars. We just have to rely on others to provide that.
Hmm.
But the information we get from the charter boat and diving community is huge, because they remind us all the time of their importance to this local community.
Yeah,
And it's all
absolutely.
about jobs. It's all about local businesses. It's all about entrepreneurs, making a living.
Well, and the cascading effect of visitors that are coming here for fishing or diving and those sort of things. It's not just about them spending dollars with the captains. It's about going and visiting local restaurants and spending money at Pier Park and going different places and experiencing our nightlife and all that. So,
Oh, I mean, it absolutely. I mean, people come here and they do a variety of different things,
mm,
and, you know, well over, 15, 16 years ago, Panama City Beach really focused, my board focused on, we need to market Panama City Beach 12 months out of the year, not
mm,
just the big months,
mm,
but every month. And angling and diving allows us to be able to have something that brings people in throughout the year. So it's really been a critical part of what we have done. And the TDC has just taken over the artificial reef program. It was done by the Extension Service in the past, but there was a change there. And the county asked us to get involved and really to breathe new life into it.
mm,
And, we've hired a new artificial reef coordinator, coastal resource manager who's hit the ground running.
mm,
She comes to us from Foley, Alabama, where she was doing the same job in Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. So she understands permitting of private reefs. She understands all the regulators that are having to go, that we have to go through. And, on Friday, she was over inspecting, a new reef that we're getting ready to deploy. And this reef is Stein's Black Pearl,
mm.
which was a reef that was, I mean, it was designed to be a movie set for Pirates of the Caribbean. They never used it on the movie.
Oh,
However,
awesome.
the
Yeah.
boat's still there,
Yeah.
and we now own it and are getting ready to deploy it, in the upcoming weeks or months. And one of the other neat things that we did is we have a partnership with Haney Technical College,
Hmm.
because part of it, we are investing in education, because we want to make sure that people, in Bay County have opportunities to be able to, be in the businesses that are supported by the tourism industry,
Hmm.
including the trades,
Yep.
because, when you come on vacation, you want to make sure that the AC is working, that everything in your vacation home is working right, and the skilled craftsmen, from Haney are, part of that, are the tourism industry. But
Mm,
we're also reaching out to the welders, because the people who are involved in the welding program. And so what they did is they created, different objects that we could attach to Stein's Black Pearl to make it a more interesting dive.
yeah.
A captain's wheel, a plank to walk off of. I mean, just different fun stuff to
Yeah.
make this reef more piratey. And it really is going to be a great dive for beginner divers and experienced divers together.
No, it sounds like a lot of fun that people get to dive on that and kind of experience that.
Oh,
And
it's gonna be a blast. I
yeah.
mean, it really is something we're very excited about, and then we're going to continue to do more things, in the artificial reef area,
Hmm.
because it's important to us.
Yeah. No, that's great. And that helps fisheries. And I mean, especially when people can go and dive on it and fish on it, it's a multi use sort of thing that way. Do you see that through the course of the things that you do relative to seasonal trends? Do you see any kind of peaks or times where fishing tourism is at its peak in our area?
Well, I mean, I think in the summer is summer's king, right? I mean,
Mm,
because that's when snapper is out there, and that's when
mm,
all the folks are really thinking about it. So, I mean, it's really important, for us to continue to show that there's always something to do in Panama City Beach. So, summer is, I mean, it's a great time to be out on the water.
absolutely. Where do you find that most of your visitors that come here for fishing activities come from? What does your data show on that?
Our data show there's a lot of people who will come from, from Alabama and Georgia will come down to fish. Some people have their boats they'll bring with them, especially the ones that are closer in.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is our core market of Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. I mean, that's really where we draw a lot of folks from.
Right. And what kind of strategies do you use to market to those folks?
Well, I mean, we try to find them where they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's part of the reason we do Chasing the Sun. I mean, but it's Chasing the Sun's reach is nationwide. Being on the Discovery on Saturday mornings, I mean, we get notes from people all over the country saying they've seen the program.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we're a digital first agency, so as we are targeting on social media or through paid media, that those people who have the propensity to come here, who also are interested in angling. I mean, that's part of the reason why our Color Your Seasons Snapper Red has been so successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're marketing those things, are you focusing more on the experience or more on the catch?
Oh, it's always the
Yeah.
experience. I mean, because I mean, this is an experience economy. Everybody loves to, to catch and to feel the tug.
Yep.
So, but just to get out and to have that exposure, and a lot. I mean, in our campaigns, we'll appeal to people who will never get on a boat. I mean,
Yeah.
because it just shows that it's an exciting, dynamic destination, and that's what we really are focused on. I mean, that's how we, you know, pull out Real Fun Beach every day, is just to make sure
Mm,
that people are just having fun.
yeah. Do you call that real fun fishing?
We call it Real Fun Fishing, and we
Nice.
have Real Fun Reefs, and we have Real Fun Diving. I mean, we use real fun in just about all of our elements. And, when it's Real Fun Fishing, I mean, it's not REAL, it's REEL.
There you go.
So,
Right. Okay. That was going to be what I was going to ask.
yeah, I mean, but it's all about the brand, right?
Yeah. Well, and you guys have done such a great job over the last several years of really changing marketing and our impression of what people think of us into a family friendly destination. And, fishing and outdoors activities is a big part of that. And the sports marketing that you guys do is a big part of that. It's really been impressive to see how we've evolved in your time. So,
Well, I've been here for 18 years now. I mean,
mhm,
so I've been through a lot in Panama City Beach, but in 2009 is when the TDC made a big shift,
mhm,
because the board said we need to give people excuses to come back to Panama City Beach outside the peak summer
mhm,
months. And that's when we started our special event strategy, building on the success of the beach ball drop that started in 2008, to really continue to show that there's always something going on.
mhm.
And that was critically important as we got into the point back in 2014, 2015, when the community finally said enough to college spring break.
Yep.
We were doing the marketing the rest of the year. We were inviting people to come back, the rest of the year. And so in 2016, when revenues in March tanked, dropped by 41% for the entire year, our revenues were down less than 0.7%, which showed that what we were doing in the other months really helped us from going into a localized recession, which was huge.
Yep.
And it was a pivot point for us to be able to move forward. And so all of that marketing is just really focused on, we want everybody to come here and have a great time. I mean, college kids still come here, but it's not the same. They're having a great time.
We're not dependent like we used to be.
Absolutely, we're not. Because
and I believe your metrics are such that they're so much better than we've ever experienced because we're so much more year round now, right?
Well, without a doubt. And if you just take a look at all the private sector investment that has happened since then, all the new hotel development, Pirates Voyage, Top Golf, all of those things, those were investments that were made after we made that pivot away from being dependent so much on college spring break.
Yeah. You were talking about how it's about the real fun and it's the experience. And, that's something that I, really, we've talked about a ton on this show to where we do trips all around the world. We talk to people who've done trips around the world, and the fishing is the mechanism that gets us there, right? Okay. But the experiences that we have are fishing, but they're also these things that it's people we meet and things that happen to us along the way. And that, regardless of you catching a fish or not, the stories are there, man. And that's what's resonated with me as I've done more and more trips. It's 80% about the experience and 20% about the fishing, where I thought it was the other way when we started doing these trips, man. I swear to you.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things when you're out on the water, when you're in a river, I mean, it is, you just soak in the environment around you. And that is so important because you can lose yourself in the moment.
Yep.
And then there are the stories about the one that got away.
Yeah.
I mean, there are the stories about, I have been a fly fisher for a long, long time. Years and years ago, I lived in Colorado. And I would, sometimes I would fish in the morning on the Frying Pan River and ski in the afternoon on Snowmass ski area. Nice. And it was just great. I mean, I would stay in the water till I couldn't feel my toes.
That's living, man.
And then just, decide to go skiing in the afternoon because it was just glorious. And there was one day I was out on the river and I wasn't catching anything. And I was starting to get frustrated. And then I looked up and there was a bald eagle sitting on a branch right above me.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay,
life ain't so bad.
Yeah, it's not. And so I decided, okay, dude, you won this day.
Yeah.
So I reeled in, got in the truck and drove to the mountain and skied in the afternoon. I mean, it was just awesome.
Yeah. I think anytime you're outdoors enjoying life, man, it just, it is so easy to just get immersed in that moment, right? And that's what we offer here, right? Like, you can get outside and do numerous things, man. There's, canoeing down Econfina. There's going out and fishing in the Gulf. I mean, there's playing at the beach. I mean, like, we offer so much here that somebody can come here and just immerse themselves and just forget about life's worries for a little bit, man.
Well, you can. And one of the great things, with a community partner like the St. Joe Company, and the St. Joe's conservation ethic is going to really have benefits for generations to come, because West Bay is such a treasure.
Yep.
The flats out in West Bay, I mean, there's no big heavy development there. It's not going to look like Key Biscayne. It's not going to be overdeveloped. And so for generations to come, people will be able to get out on West Bay and just have that magical experience, whether, they're chasing trout or redfish. I mean, they're just, it's a great benefit, a great resource that we have that I think a lot of people don't completely appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you do because you're a red fisherman, right? Like you love sight. You like sight fishing.
I do. It is. I mean, it's great when you're with a guide and they can actually see the fish better than I can. And I don't. I don't fish.
It's an art, man. I swear to you.
It is. I don't fish that much because it is. You have to go out with a guide and. But it is just so much fun if you see a tailing redfish and then you say to cast the fly, 6 inches in front of their nose. I mean, that's just, it's an awesome way to spend a day.
That honestly is one of my favorite styles of fishing I've ever done. We went sight fishing in Venice, Louisiana. And if you've never been to Venice to go sight fishing, it is on a completely different level of just the amount of fish you see and the quality of fish is really outstanding. But we had a day where we sight fished out there and man, it was unbelievable, and it was even windy, and we still caught a ton of them over that way. But
yeah, and it's our friends over in Gulf County. I mean, St. Joe Bay is not a bad fishery either.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's I mean, there's some just it's great angling spots everywhere.
I'm sure you know Fred and Carter Myers. They were here on the show a couple of weeks back, and usually when they do tournaments, they do it here,
Hmm.
you know, and this is where they choose to be, and they can go all over the place for a lot of those tournaments, and this is where they fish. This is for, and they're world champions,
Yep.
man. They know what they're doing. This is where they want to be.
Well, I
So
mean, it's I mean, St. Andrew Bay is just wonderful. I mean, there's
yeah,
just so much here, and then you know, and I'm friends with Tom Morgan, who owns Appalachia Outfitters, and he is always threatening to take me down to Crooked Isle to go fishing for tarpon.
yeah.
And
Have you caught one yet?
I have not.
Yeah, me neither, man. We got to make it
That
happen. So
that's well, and then a couple months ago, I was invited out on the boat with Justin Leake to go tarpon fishing, and
mhm.
unfortunately, my calendar um, didn't allow for that to happen. But the footage we got back after that, they had a very good day on the chasing tarpon.
Yeah, awesome. I've been seeing it the last couple of summers in particular, where middle of the summer here, the tarpon bite is really, really good. I mean, right off the beach too, man. I mean, you're talking like sights view from the condos. People are catching tarpon right there, man. It's unbelievable.
It is. I mean, when I first moved here, I never thought that was going to be possible.
Yeah,
But I mean, you see it, every single year now.
yeah. No, it's incredible, man. Well, good. Well, maybe you and I are going to get our tarpon this coming year, so hopefully so.
That's the goal.
Yeah. So if you're talking to somebody who has not fished in Panama City Beach, what would you say to them?
Do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's regardless of where you go, there's a great experience. People used to ask me what my perfect beach day was,
Hmm.
and I would say it's a Corona commercial with a surf rod.
Yeah.
As my wife is, sitting next to me, with her wine and her book, I'm looking, have the Corona in front of me, and I'm just watching the surf rod just to see if anything
That's our
will hit it.
everyday, bro.
I mean, and it's, and whether you're catching pompano, I mean, just there's all sorts of different, it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
just a good way just to relax, and then people can also, from time to time, I'll go out on the pier just to watch, people, fishing for Spanish and just having a great time. But
Yeah.
then when you get out, into the bay or offshore, I mean, there's just so much that's out there.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. Can you finish a sentence for me? The best memories in Panama City Beach start.
When you wake up,
Yeah.
because the day is absolutely filled with just a real fun experiences. I mean, there's a lot of different types of beaches, where some beaches where you go see and be seen, but this beach is all about fun,
Hmm.
and so every day when you wake up, you know that it's going to be a great beach experience.
Yeah, I agree. I actually like when I stay at the beach here, I like to get up early and get out to the beach, and it's so quiet and peaceful. No, and hardly anybody's out there. To me, that's my favorite time.
Hmm.
Getting out there and it's super peaceful. So,
Well, and there's also something to be said about sunset.
mhm.
Our sunsets are some of the best anywhere,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
at 365, the sun is setting over the Gulf. And I think that is just one of those places that is just magical in terms of, the colors and I mean, I mean, it's really a great time of day.
Yeah, awesome. Very cool. So as we grow tourism, how do we balance conservation with conservation of fishing with tourism?
Well, I mean, that's part of, taking a holistic approach to it. One of the things that, um, Aaron Graham, who is our new artificial reef coordinator, is really focused on is helping, to develop a sustainable fishery,
Hmm.
and make sure that we're not just putting out reef materials that, aggregate fish just for the sole purpose of people catching them, but making sure they're taking a holistic approach,
Hmm.
to make sure that, we keep the fishery healthy,
Hmm.
and we also applaud, the estuary program and all the things that are being done,
Hmm.
to make sure that, the bay is protected, because I mean, that's it is, the incubator for, a lot of fish. And we think that, having a coordinated effort to do that, where we are focused on both, the activity, but the stewardship of the resource.
Yeah, I mean, it's so critical that we take care of it, and that's That's something that, not just from an enjoyment standpoint, but also, our ability to live here and enjoy the waters and the beaches and all that. We have beautiful, clean beaches, and if you haven't experienced it, man, you would not want to ruin it if you've ever seen it. So,
Well, I mean, we also have, having St. Andrew Bay being fed by Econfina Creek. I mean,
mm,
that is just, I mean, it's a wonderful, creek. I mean, and it is just, we don't get a lot of the, upstream pollutants that a lot of other, communities get flowing into their bays. So, I mean, it really
yeah.
is it's a magical place.
And if something ever happened to the watershed here, I mean, that would be so impactful in so many ways, and such a negative to our area and tourism that way as well. So we have to do it to protect our own, you know, economy and way of life here.
It's, I mean, everything is integrated. It's all about the same, and that's where, we do like to be good stewards of our local community.
Hmm.
One of the things that the TDC does is, several years ago, the board, created a new strategic plan, and one of the the pillars in the strategic plan is that we will actively seek out projects that address unmet community needs that have a nexus with tourism.
Hmm.
And what that means is we're staying true to our mission, because our mission is about how do we, develop and enhance tourism, and economic opportunity driven by tourism, but also to help address community needs is important.
Hmm.
And the TDC funded, the canoe launch at Porter Park on Econfina
Hmm.
Creek.
Hmm.
That was something that, Commissioner Dozier first reached out to us with this project, saying, "Hey, he thought that it would help us with our ecotourism opportunities."
Yeah,
And we looked at it and we said, "This is a great thing for us to do,
absolutely.
because it
Yeah,
is, of benefit to our visitors, but also to the local community." And so
yeah.
we're giving back to the local community to make sure that, we're being a good neighbor and a good partner.
Yep, absolutely. When I go places on cruises and stuff like that, there's a tremendous amount of ecotourism. Do you see us having even more potential than what we have currently in ecotourism?
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that we also partner with the other coastal communities in Northwest Florida through the Northwest Florida Tourism Council,
Hmm.
and the the way that the Tourism Council is focused is adventure within reach.
Hmm.
Which that means a couple different things. One is it's close. Our audiences, the people we draw people from, come from, traditionally from the Southwest, and it's easy to, or the Southeast, and it's easy to get to. And with the expansion of the air service, it's easy for people to get here from a lot further away. But within reach is also, it's not so insurmountable that you can't do it.
Yeah.
There's some people that you think about ecotourism, you're thinking about Costa Rica and or somewhere exotic like that, and it's the barriers to entry get pretty high.
Yeah.
But here you're able to get out into nature, outdoors, do something different that is pretty easy to do.
Yeah. We're very accessible. Yeah.
And with stand-up paddleboarding and econfina, and then even cave diving, there's a lot of different opportunities in this area, in this region, for people to explore things that they haven't done before.
Absolutely.
And so we do believe those opportunities are going to be able to continue to grow for us. And visitors, a lot of times they'll stay here, but they'll venture off, to our neighboring counties for those experiences.
Hmm.
And we think that's a wonderful thing to do.
Yeah.
But they always come home. They always come back to Panama City Beach. And that's why, we're probably the most visited beach, anywhere in the region.
Yeah, absolutely. And y'all are doing a great job of creating that awareness of things going on in our area that, people as they learn about them. And, you mentioned chasing the sun earlier, and that's a great way for people to find out about, fishing and outdoors life here in Bay County, Florida. As y'all are the owners of that show,
Mhm.
and, in working with Captain Leake and Meredith McCord, they tell some incredible stories. Why do you think those stories are so important?
Well, I mean, because it humanizes things, right?
Mm,
People, when they're, people trust, Justin and Meredith, because I mean they've got to know them through the show,
hmm.
and so when they speak, they're coming out as a trusted source, and I think that's one of the things that helps them grow and helps people really lean into the show to make sure that they're learning something new.
Hmm. And do you say, do you get people that come up to you often that state, hey, I came here because I saw it on the show.
It is a frequent occurrence, you know,
Nice.
and that's just because, again, I mean, it's really compelling television, you know, and Chris Hermans, who produces it for us, I mean, does a great job. He's great behind the camera. He's a great editor pulling it together. And we've just hired a new video editor on our staff.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be able to repurpose a lot of the video that we have over time and also capture additional video not related to the show that we're going to be able to package and really start to create, you know, snippets and vignettes that we're going to be able to start to push through all of our channels just to continue to highlight that. You know, because, you know, you've heard the old adage, you know, picture's worth 1,000 words, but a really compelling video is worth 1,000 pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and that's my world, man.
Yeah.
So, and that is a great thing I wanted to ask you about too, and how the modern way of reaching people with social content and video content and influencers, how has that changed the way that you market from a standpoint of fishing and outdoors?
Well, I mean, part of it is people will listen to somebody that they find to be credible and they believe in. And we all follow people online, and so when we're able to connect with those influencers and have them, you know, amplify our messaging, you know, that really does continue to say that that we have credibility in this space, and that the experience when you come here will equal what you believe it to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do that a lot too. I'll watch videos on something and be like, man, that looks like an awesome place. And I jot it down in my notes and I say that's somewhere it's now on my list, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure other people do the same thing for Panama City Beach. So when they see it, they're like, man, that looks awesome. I got to experience that.
Oh, I think so. You know, and it's not just Panama City Beach. If you think about, you know, I mean, you know, we're related to Destination Panama City and to the Mexico Beach Community Development Council. You know, and they both have great products that they're offering. You know, I mean, if you're staying at the Hotel Indigo, I mean, you're right on the bay. I mean, that's a magical experience. You know, and then in Mexico Beach, you know, they've done a phenomenal job of coming back from Hurricane Michael. You know, and the Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association, I mean, those guys are, you know, some of the best in the business in terms of getting, you know, reef materials out there for people to be able to get out and to experience and to enhance their fishery. So I think, you know, Bay County has just some really incredible opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I love about our area too is it's so different as you go along the coast there, right? From Panama City Beach, you know, with all of the fun activities that you guys have going on out there, to in town is a different feel. And then you get over to Mexico Beach, and Mexico Beach is so natural and just, you know, largely untouched, right? And to have all that right there within, you know, what, 45 minutes or so, you know, it's unbelievable. You can experience all that in one day.
And it's, I mean, each community has its unique personality, which is great. I mean, I think that, you know, what's happened in downtown over the last, 6 years has been phenomenal.
Yeah, we're just scratching the surface, baby.
And
So-
there's a long way. I mean, there's a lot more to do. I mean, you're absolutely right. We're scratching the surface. And Mexico Beach is continuing to grow, but to keep its funky vibe, you know. And you know, one of the great things that the community leaders did after Hurricane Michael is they insisted that they were going to maintain what made Mexico Beach special, and they've done that.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, absolutely. You know, as you've been involved with, you know, Florida tourism for decades now, what's your most memorable Florida fishing story?
My most memorable Florida fishing story. Oh, I got to think about this one. It was, it's not necessarily a positive memory.
Yeah.
Because I was fishing with a former city manager of Panama City Beach, and we were probably 15 miles offshore, and his motor went out.
Oh man, yeah.
And so it took a while, but Mario was able to get it put back together. I mean, we were slaying him that day. I mean, it was a great day on the water, but being, you know, offshore where you can't see the condos along the beach, it was a
Makes
little
you
bit
a little nervous. Yeah,
it was a little bit concerning that, you know, we're out there with a dead motor, but I mean, we caught, you know, snapper and grouper. I mean, it was just one of those classic days on the water.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it back.
Yeah, so
Well,
am I.
so we had something kind of similar happen one time. You know Joe Littleton that does lawnscapes, right? So we're way out, and I think Joe is one of the most elite men in the world because of this story, right? So we're like 35 miles out or something like that, and the pump or the hose blows, and so he can't turn the wheel, right? And he got us all the way back home through the pass, around the bend at Watson's, right, and docked his boat without being able to turn the wheel, just using his tilt trim tabs.
That's
a
classic.
boss move, man.
That
I'm
is
telling you. So
that's above my pay grade.
I just sat there impressed the whole time. I was like, dude, and he had his feet up at one point. He's just, but that was pretty legit, man.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's definitely legit.
yeah, for sure. So if you, and you can't say Florida things here, but if you had to fish anywhere in the world and you could pick one place, where would it be, man?
The Toccoa River in Blue Ridge, Georgia.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice. I've never been. You have to tell me about it.
Well, I mean, it's a great fishery, and my wife and I own property in Blue Ridge.
Nice.
And so it's one of the places that if I'm not here, I'll be there. A few years ago, I had the opportunity of getting to know a guy by the name of Bill Oyster, who has a shop in downtown Blue Ridge who makes bamboo fly rods. And it was on a bucket list opportunity for me to make a bamboo fly rod last year.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And so now I have my own. I built this thing. It was very nerve-wracking every single step of the way. But I have an 8-foot 5-weight fly rod that I can take out, knowing that I built this thing
you did it.
From scratch.
That's pretty awesome.
And when you're fishing with that, I mean, it's a magical experience.
Yeah, I bet, man. I bet. What's something that fishing has taught you in life or business that you want to share with somebody?
Patience.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't force it.
Yeah.
You have to, meet, present the fly in such a way that just will trick a fish into biting it. And you can't just force that. You have to pay attention. You have to read the water. You have to, fish where the fish are.
Yeah.
But you can't do it on your terms. You have to do it on their terms.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. Patience is such a huge virtue that I've learned. And I think part of it is you're not in control of, your conditions, right?
Yep.
You have to work with what you are given that day.
And that is so true.
Yeah, absolutely. So one last question for you today, man. If you could have any famous angler, celebrity, whatever, come here and fish with you in Panama City Beach, who would it be?
Well, unfortunately, he has passed. But President Jimmy Carter was a trout fisherman.
Yeah.
And and I had gotten the pleasure of meeting President Carter when I was in Georgia, and he is just, politics aside, he was just a great guy.
Yeah.
And I think, fishing with him would just be awesome.
I think that's an incredible choice, man. I serve as our Habitat for Humanity board chair currently here in Bay County, and Jimmy Carter was through and through a quality human being, man. And yeah, just to have 5 minutes of his time would be unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, man. So, well, listen, man, I hope I get to get on the water with you someday, and hopefully let's get that tarpon, man. Let's cross that baby off the list. So
we need to make it happen.
Yeah, let's make that happen, man. So, well, thank you for being here today,
Oh,
man.
It's been my pleasure.
I just want to say, man, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate the things that you do, man. The things that you and your team do every single day make this a better place to live, man. And I've seen it over my time here. I've been here for 25 years. The impact that you guys have in our community is unbelievable, man. And I'm proud of what you've accomplished, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, and it's not me. It's the team. It's the strategic direction that the board lays out, and it's the team that is working at the TDC that make it happen.
Yeah. Well, they're incredible, man.
I know they are.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
Man. I appreciate it. And y'all, that's another one in the live well here on Between Two Rods. And if you've enjoyed the episode, please smash that like button and follow us online. And whether your adventures end up in a bird's nest of misadventure or the trophy catch of a lifetime, just enjoy that you've gotten out there and do it. Something great's going to happen every single time. And folks, we'll see you later.